I want to thank the organizers for allowing us to present our study on progressive ectatic change post-penetrating keratoplasty for keratoconus. Breaks in Bowman's layer are a key histopathological feature of keratoconus. In 1980, the first report of recurrent keratoconus had described these breaks in Bowman's layer after a routine histopathological evaluation. Since then, other case reports have looked at this finding. We sought out to look not only at this finding in transplants for keratoconus, but to see if this was also found in patients that had transplants for other conditions that were not keratoconus related. We retrospectively looked at patients that underwent primary penetrating keratoplasty for keratoconus between 2010 and 2018 at Mass Eye and Ear. We identified 21 specimens from patients that had a previous corneal transplant for keratoconus. Additionally, we included 11 positive controls of patients that had keratoconus and 11 negative controls for patients that had transplants for conditions other than keratoconus. The specimens were collected, de-identified, and were evaluated by 2 masked pathologists, and each specimen was stained with H&E as well as PAS staining, and we were looking at breaks and gaps in Bowman's layer. Here are the demographics of our study categories. We had a 2:1:1 ratio of our study group compared to the positive controls and the negative controls. In the negative control group, the reasons for regrafting in the failed PK non-KCN group included pseudophakic bullous keratopathy, Fuchs endothelial dystrophy, corneal scarring, and peripheral ulcerative keratitis, as well as corneal clouding. Here are examples of H&E stained specimens imaged at 60x magnification. A is a 3-year-old graph from a 57-year-old male with keratoconus showing both a break and loss in Bowman's layer. B shows a break in Bowman's layer from a 13-year-old transplant for keratoconus in a 32-year-old male. C is from the positive control group showing a break and loss of Bowman's layer in a 30-year-old male with keratoconus. And D is from a 95-year-old female with Fuchs in the negative control group. In the figure on the left, 91% of primary KCN, 86% of the failed PK-KCN, and 27% of the negative control group had breaks in Bowman's layer. There was no statistical significance between the positive control and the study group, and there was statistical significance between the study group and the negative control with the Fisher's exact test. On the right, you see the age of transplants demonstrating these breaks in Bowman's layer. Notice that there are 10 graphs that demonstrated breaks in the graphs that are less than 5 years old in the keratoconus group. In conclusion, recurrence of keratoconus in corneal transplants is not as rare as what was previously thought, and it occurs much earlier than previously described. In our case, we've seen a few cases that developed within 5 years of the transplant. It is important to monitor for early signs of recurrence of keratoconus as more significant conditions like hydrops can occur. Thank you very much for your time.